Day number 17 is in the books, and we finally got our winner of the A block as G1Climax30 slowly approaches its overall conclusion. In what was today a tremendous day of shockers, upsets, moments galore, and great classics in professional wrestling. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good night, konnichiwa to you all. My name is Noah Foster, and I am a simple man. And welcome once again to another G1 Climax review / preview. As we have now officially concluded day 17, there is only 2 days left, one more day of block action, and our finale. And the A block was certainly a memorable day. Overall, the experience of the A block was absolutely amazing, and I really enjoyed this finale's block action. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it because there's a lot to discuss. We first, of course, start off with our unofficial C block of the G1 as the Young Lions continue to duke it out among themselves for who would get the most wins during this G1 tour. And basically, excuse me, as I look at day 17 here, we had Gabriel Kidd and Yosuji go at it today, and Gabriel Kidd, he desperately needed a win here as he was already down below Yosuji and Uya Yamera. And in the end, sorry, Yosuji got the better of Gabriel Kidd, causing him to submit to, once again, the Boston Crab. And basically, Yosuji has this thing locked down unless Uya Yamera is in action both tomorrow and Sunday, meaning that the best that Uya can do is tie Yosuji. But I think overall, the better record goes to Yosuji. I think as they say, Yosuji won this, but Gabriel Kidd, kudos to his incredible effort. He came really close, but in the end, it just was not enough. And personally, I do hope that he continues to make strides, and I'm sure that he has represented LA Dojo very proud. Not much more to say on that. Now let's go into the thick of the action. As of course we have Jeff Cobb taking on Yujiro Takahashi. Of course, Jeff Cobb's power came heavily into play during this match, getting the better of Yujiro during multiple exchanges. We figured Yujiro, he's going to repeat what Homa did 6 years ago, go through this entire thing scoreless. I'll be darned. He freaking pulled it out in the end, and he ended Jeff Cobb's score at 8 points. But he got on the board with 2. Congratulations to Tokyo Pim. It took, of course, a staff spot in the end, but he did finally lock up the Hawaiian Juggernaut in Pip Juice. Sorry, my jaw's a little sore. I had a deep cleaning today, in case you're hearing anything. And at the end of this match, Yujiro got the win, which really surprised me. I must say, I'm kind of glad he didn't go scoreless, but it does make me wonder now, how will this affect both men's futures going forward? And I thought Jeff Cobb had a pretty impressive performance overall in this year's G1. And I could definitely see him being in it again next year. Pretty good back and forth match. But then we move on to a match more so for pride and maybe a shot at redemption towards what he lost. That is the Never Overweight Championship. As Shingo Takagi finally once again meets the king, Minoru Suzuki. Both men, of course, were mathematically eliminated. It was based to see who ends with 8, who leaves at 6. Well, they both draw at 7. And in the end, Shingo Takagi, he did get the victory, finally overcoming the king, where it looked like Minoru Suzuki had about 90% of this match, outweighing when it comes to Shingo's striking capability, and honestly, what's the word I'm looking for? Outspeeding, I guess you could say, because again, he was faster than Shingo among multiple times, including snap arounds into the sleeper, goes for the God style power, of course, that gets countered into a backdrop. Shingo Takagi goes for his patented Shingo combo, I like to call it. Gets denied by the king. King constantly working over Shingo's arms. He's challenging Shingo to hit me harder, hit me harder. Eventually, he finally gets one stiff knockout on an exchange, but the other knockouts, Minoru had his number every time. But again, as this match reached towards its end, Shingo Takagi was able to pull out the victory as the king smiled. But honestly, he kind of survived because it was kind of like a move out of nowhere that gave him the win. And I believe it was Last of the Dragon, if not Made in Japan. Someone can correct me on that. But overall, a really good match. And Shingo, I feel, in a must-win situation because now he can actually obligate himself to go back after the king for his Never Openweight title. And we could potentially get that rematch maybe during the finale because we got to figure out the rest of the matches for the finale, I imagine. Or maybe even during the Road to Power struggle. But bottom line is this. I appreciate both men's performances during this G1, and congratulations to Shingo Takagi overcoming the king in the very end. Now, whether or not Suzuki is disappointed or happy or looking forward to this match, I don't know. There's only been a couple of times since entire G1 I've seen him smile. So I think that's credit where credit's due. And I feel like he totally respects Shingo as well. Freaking hiccups. Good run by both men. Congrats to Shingo on his win. As we go back from cleaning to sprint and break, we truly get to the meat of the card as it is do or die for three, well, technically 4 of these men. And we start off with this. Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. He takes on the guy he brought into Chaos, the guy he was impressed with from Rev Pro 5 years ago. Or was it 6 years ago? I think it was 6 years ago, excuse me. And of course, the guy that has yet to beat what he figuratively has been calling Big Brother in Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. This match was wild and fast from the very start as Will Ospreay goes immediately on the offense, pulling out all the classic moves, going over the top, controlling the momentum of this match until Okada, of course, pulls off the traditional moves that put the match in his favor, including a DDT on the floor, pulls off a few drop kicks, and finally locks in the mind clip. No Rainmaker stance, but there was what was being called a short arm Rainmaker. And by the way, how can I be so rude? As we also are back via Goku, and of course today, tomorrow, and the finale will be with live English commentary. It was great to once again hear Kevin Kelly, Rocky Romero, and Chris Charlton all together. Definitely, I forgot how much of a different vibe it is. Not nearly as loud and spontaneous as the Japanese commentary. Definitely gonna have to go through and rewatch today with Japanese commentary for, if nothing else, 3 of these matches I really enjoyed. This one was okay, but I kind of thought that Okada was like an easy win for him, as he did lock in the mic to go towards the end after countering the Os Cutter. And then, of course, Ospreay eventually hits the Os Cutter and then finally hits the Stormbreaker in the end. And I'm like, what the holy hell? Wow, he eliminated Okada. He beat Okada. But it wasn't under the cleanest of terms, as we really are breaking barriers, it seems. I had to imagine they had to do some sort of follow-up since the Stardom partnership, the Stardom Dark match from Wrestle Kingdom last year. There might be more of a different presence to next year's Wrestle Kingdom, because Bea Priestley is now on New Japan Pro Wrestling TV, showed up in the venue. Why the hell weren't Peter and Miho Abe there? I'll talk about that later, about the Miho Abe spot. But anyway, and not only does she distract Okada and Red Shoes enough to allow, it wasn't Marty, I can't remember, to allow Ospreay to survive the money clip, but then we get another return out of nowhere, and it looks like it's a big heavy for Will Ospreay. As you all might not figure out this name, but thankfully, Cage Match and Cindy, my good friend, please follow Cindy C_OK, told me who this was. The Great Old Khan, and thank you, by the way, Sandy, on Twitter. He returned from excursion in Rev Pro Wrestling. This is a young lion, by the way, in case y'all don't know. Originally named Tomoyuki Oka. He is 3 years currently in his full wrestling experience, and he has been trained by Yuji Nagata. He came into play here, and literally we were like, what the hell is going on here? And basically he attacked Okada, which allowed Ospreay, behind the ref's back, ref had no idea what was going on, take advantage, hit Stormbreaker, and gets the win over Okada. Okada was eliminated from the G1, and Ospreay's hopes went from 5% to maybe 10%. But what more so is the story here is, first off, Ospreay beat Okada by nefarious means. Bea Priestley showed up in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and we now have a new heavy, maybe Padre, it seems, in New Japan Pro Wrestling with the returning Okan. And then we think, okay, what the hell's going on here? What's happening? And we're like, okay, Ospreay, he just leaves. No, he comes back, adds further damage, and literally whacks Kazuchika Okada with a hidden blade, and basically says, fuck you, you were holding me back. And basically he declares himself out of Chaos. So not only did we see another heel turn, and honestly, when you think about the heat this man's been under this year because of, you know, it kind of makes sense from a character dreaming standpoint, as other promotions have followed suit, bringing back those type of wrestlers too under that scrutiny. But it looks like literally we got another faction forming and maybe a debut coming to Chaos. I couldn't freaking believe it. But the bottom line is this: Will Ospreay is still alive in the G1. Okada is eliminated. Okada's got to be heartbroken. I imagine Rocky Romero is distraught as he was on commentary. Not to mention, what is it with poor Milano and those he truly supports, not only as friends, but great, incredible wrestlers? They turn his back on him. I gotta definitely watch his commentary just to hear his reaction. I can only imagine how distraught Milano Collection AT is following this. What a insane moment and surprise. This wasn't Osaka, this was Ryogoku. I mean, I know this menu has not been good in the past for Okada, but of all the ways I could see him lose, I thought I was going to take maybe 2 Stormbreakers. No, full-on heel turn. Bea Priestley is now under New Japan Pro Wrestling's environment in a capacity, it seems. We got a new faction coming and a new project, it seems, with Will Ospreay, with this guy. What the hell's going on here? This is just changing the entire dynamic, not only of New Japan Pro Wrestling, but maybe all Japanese pro wrestling. Is this a new power couple in wrestling trying to take over this facet pro wrestling? Because Bea Priestley is still in Stardom as a champion, top Gaijin. And she's the leader of OAM Tai, I think, now. So this is really bizarre to me, but I'm curious where it goes. How fitting that the next actual big event name is Power Struggle, because now we're literally going to see where the power lies in New Japan Pro Wrestling from this standpoint. Is Chaos literally going to go belly up at this point? Are they meeting their high end? I don't know, but this is crazy. And I can only imagine who else Will Ospreay has maybe under his faction. Robbie Eagles? Just saying. Of course, I know the travel restrictions, but hey, best Super Juniors is coming up. Just saying. Anyway, Okada, he ends his G1 with 12 points, while Ospreay, he also is at 12 points. And basically, this match is do or die for him as well as the other one. But honestly, this was my favorite match of the night. I will sum up in one word for you. Kick. 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 Ah! Paralyzing each other, one after the other. Kick. 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 Another exchange. High kicks met after a pump kick exchange. Kick, 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 kick. The pants come off. Kick, 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 kick in the midsection. I can't believe either of these men are freaking breathing. Kick, 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 kick. Finally hits a stiff enough striking kick. Kota Ibushi does to hit the only non-kick move in this entire 17-minute melee. That is going to be the most awesome G1 match probably I've ever seen, and definitely is the most unique I can ever recall. That's the final Kamigoye after the match of nothing but kicks. Literally gives Kota Ibushi the win. What a unique and incredible striking exchange with this new Taiji, not resorting to new dirty tactics, no underhanded tricks, literally going in. Both men testing each other's spines, chest, thighs, hamstrings, legs, heads, and literally it comes down to one kick that just was too much for one to bear, followed by a Kamigoye. And literally this at this point, Will Ospreay is eliminated because Kota Ibushi is now a block leader with 14 points. Taiji's G1 ends with 8 points, but my gosh, what a breakout performance this year for Taiji. And literally both men, they are going to suffer that for a long time. It surprised me Kota Ibushi was barely able to walk out under his own power with assistance. But Taiji was literally dead weight as Yoshitsuji hoisted him on his back and literally walked him to the back. What an incredible match of kicks. And I would love to see this again, but maybe mix up the offense. I'm not sure if there was more kicks here than there were chops in the freaking Ryu Lee versus Hiromu Takahashi match earlier this year for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. But this match, my favorite intermatch of G1, maybe my favorite match ever in G1 history. I freaking loved it. But I only can imagine the heavy damage both men have done to themselves, considering that Kota, if he's a block winner, he only has 1 day to fully recover, and your muscles are probably never going to be the same. They're both never going to probably walk the same after that match of kicks. Good freaking Lord. That was bloody insane. I loved it. And honestly, it was my favorite match of the show, the number one match I was looking forward to, and it delivered. All hail the Holy Emperor, but congratulations to the Golden Star. Which leads us to our main event as G1 Climax VIP of every year, it seems, when it comes to giving you a breakout classic. Tomohiro Ishii, the Stone Pit Bull, he takes on the Switchblade, Jay White. And why everyone was picking Jay White as a favorite to win this entire block, calling this his J1, him going into this, of course, with 12 points, while Ishii was mathematically eliminated. All Ishii could do was play spoiler, but these two have only had one other one-on-one encounter in last year's G1, where Ishii won, and this match literally went the entire distance, and both men were fairly tested. Clearly, Jay White, he did not know who he was dealing with, as he once again continued to underestimate the Stone Pit Bull, and got knocked out multiple times for his troubles. But crab crabs do, and even with the Gato influence, saved Jay White from a number of big-time offense moves that could have ended him. As Jay White started to attack, of course, the number one target we see on Tomohiro Ishii, his exposed heavily taped right knee with multiple dragon screws, and even the TTO at one point. Thought we were going to get Tomohiro tap out. Nope, he did not tap out. And then Ishii, he follows up, of course, with his own ridiculous lariat, not only at Jay White, but takes out Gedo towards the end as Gedo is trying to get involved. And then we get a vertical drop brainbuster as this match goes the distance. Not the longest match, but goes the distance. And yes, I'm so happy it happened. I called it happening. I'm glad it happened. It was a great match. As Tomohiro Ishii beat Jay White and overcame all of Gedo's shenanigans. Red Shoes was having enough. I'm surprised Red Shoes didn't DQ Gedo, because you could tell how frustrated Gedo was getting. He was really trying to get involved in this, under any means necessary, trying to help Jay White win, considering what we've seen recently when it comes to Jay White's mentality and maybe the trust with him and Gedo. But anyway, folks, after this incredibly striking, hard-hitting brawl with a little bit of strategic mind game and tomfoolery, finally ended. Tomohiro Ishii, he ends Jay White's J1, eliminates them all together as Jay White ends with 12, while Ishii, he ends, of course, with 8 points. My bad, he came into this at 6, which means, ladies and gentlemen, our winner, once again, 3rd year in a row for his block, is Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi has officially won the A block once again this year, and will now go on to the finale Sunday morning to see if he can once again be the one. And under this modern G1 Climax setup, as Sandy did point out, under older circumstances, there have been people that have won G1 Climaxes twice back to back. So thank you for that, Sandy. But again, that was in different format. Under this setup of the G1, this type of field, this type of format, and can Kota Ibushi make history and be the first one to actually win 2 consecutive G1 Climaxes back to back in year and year? We're going to have to wait and see. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Jay White and Gedo, because Gedo, he couldn't believe it. He was absolutely frustrated and anger. And as he goes to consult Jay White and basically calls the referee biased, Jay White just goes, yeah. A much more calm, relaxed demeanor, it seems, but we know the man is constantly thinking, as he says, I always have a plan. We've also seen subtly how Jay White has wondered if there's a conspiracy against him in Bullet Club. Gedo said he doesn't know anything. He still breathes with a switchblade. He had nothing to do with the fact of Yujiro's actions. Is Evil trying to overcome Jay White? Are Gedo and Evil working together? Is Jay White going to cause evil? These are all these little pieces we have to figure about heading into the B block tomorrow morning, which will, of course, determine the other half of our finale match to determine who will be the one. But bottom line is this, folks. I think there's some change in leadership or in position in Bullet Club. And while I don't believe Ospreay, Bia, and this guy are going to join Bullet Club, I believe they're truly going to form their own faction surrounded by British wrestling, if nothing else. I feel like that definitely either Gedo or Jay White, someone's going to change one of those men during the Power Struggle tour. There's a reason why this tour's called Power Struggle, folks. We're seeing some very interesting changes among some factions. To think, this G1 started out with a Zuki-gu and civil war between Taiji, Minoru Suzuki. I'm sure that's still an underlying topic, especially because Taiji still has a victory over Minoru Suzuki. So technically, since he beat the King first, he could challenge possibly for the Never Openweight title. Then you think about Chaos and what just happened here. Losing Will Ospreay, turning his back on his friend Okada that brought him into New Japan Pro Wrestling in the first place. Bringing in this, and Bia now, it seems, might be more involved in New Japan Pro Wrestling from an outside interference standpoint. And then now you think about Bullet Club and the recent addition of Evil and the turn on LIJ, but you look at Jay White and he lost and then wondering what's going on against him maybe. There's a lot to consider. And while Yujiro is on record saying that we've had many leaders, but Jay White is definitely the best, but he wonders now about Jay White when it comes to this G1. It seems like the only one right now that basically seems to be foundated now that they no longer have that evil in their past. It seems that LIJ probably right now is the most strong standing, which is kind of weird to say, despite the fact that Suzuki owns most of the goal. Let's not forget that. But I feel like Power Struggle is going to show a lot of various change among the factions. And that honestly might be some of our stories heading into Wrestle Kingdom. Just saying. But what an incredible day for the G1 Climax 30 A block finale. And overall, what an amazing A block it was too. I'll talk more about my top performers, top matches, low blows, and other stuff about the A block in my G1 summary regarding block action overall, either tomorrow or Sunday after the G1 ends. Stay tuned for more on that, folks. But we're not done with the G1 yet. Why one half is done and defined and leaves us really wondering about a lot of these people. We got to go to the other half now. That concludes tomorrow, and that is the B block. So we can figure out the other half to our finale. I just hope Kota Ibushi's legs are okay. So first off, let's go ahead and look at the card, of course, and see what we got to look forward to. Of course, the B block finale, for those that don't know, it will be live, but English commentary again, Ryogoku, tomorrow morning, 1 a.m. Pacific time, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 9 a.m. British Standard Time. A little early, folks, so not the 5:30 that you're used to, so keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and look at day 18. Of course, our young lions, they kick us off. It is Uya Uemura, who is 5-5-1, versus Gabriel Kidd, who is 4-5-1. Singles record is 5-2, with Uemura owning 3 victories versus 2 losses this tour over Kidd. Kidd is in a desperate spot right now, with Yota Tsuji basically going up to, I believe now it's 6 for him. Uya Uemura, he could win this and tie him at 6. With Gabriel Kidd, he could beat Uya and tie him at 5. So here's the way it goes, folks. Basically, excuse me, with Yota Tsuji now at 6, if Uya Uemura wins, it's going to come down to Uya versus Yota, an all NJPW Dojo match on the finale, which I think will be very interesting. If Gabriel Kidd wins, then basically, no matter what, Yota Tsuji basically has won this tour because these two have 5 at this point, and only one of these 2 men will face Yota Tsuji, and the best they could do is tie. So right now, I feel like while Kidd is desperate for the win, I think at the end of this G1 run tour, it's going to be an all NJPW affair, and I think Uya Uemura is going to win here, and we're going to see Yota Tsuji versus Uya Uemura in our finale for the C block run, if you can call it that, finale to see who was the better young lion overall. And I'm pretty sure that will leave Gabriel Kidd quite thinking. But again, Gabriel Kidd, good luck to you, dude. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some matches now that are just ridiculous, maybe some for some pride, and maybe might be fun. This one, oh, good freaking Lord. You know how I feel about this guy. Toru Yano, he now takes on Yoshihashi. Both men are mathematically eliminated. Yano's got 6, Yoshihashi 2 points. Yoshihashi, though, has been really bringing out bangers of classic matches, though, really showing us what he's made of and why he not only belongs in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but belongs in the G1. But here's the thing. These two have not faced each other in singles action, and this is an all chaos affair, by the way, since 2016. And back then, Yano won. And obviously, it wasn't that long. So with that being said, considering right now Yano's been out Yano'd 2 times in a row, I don't see Yoshihashi resorting to Yano games. Obviously, I see Yoshihashi resorting to what brought him to the table. His physical ability and his technical submission holds. With that being said, he might need to go in a bit of a different direction because he wants to show, of course, superiority over Yano. So I've already seen one shocker with the fact Jeff Cobb was beat by Yojiro, and I thought Yojiro was going to go scoreless. Can I see Yoshihashi overcoming Yano and maybe these two going after each other in the KOPW 2020 thing? Because I wonder who's going to challenge Yano for that next. You know he's got to at least have maybe 1-2 more defenses of that little trophy. So I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to hold out for the headhunter to get the win here and not be tied with Yojiro, and Yojiro being the lowest scoring person down the G1. I'm going to hope that the headhunter, Yoshihashi, overcomes Toru Yano. Now we go into another match for pride, and boy, the history with these two. Hiroki Goto, who sits at 8, takes on Juice Robinson, who sits at 6. You think about these two's history. In previous G1 records, Juice Robinson has gotten the better of Goto twice. And overall, though, these guys have made each other in 4 singles encounters, and it is dead even. So this is a rubber match among this incredible rivalry. We've seen how far Juice Robinson will dig down deep, but we've also seen how far Goto will dig down deep. Goto, of course, is not going to be in this 100%, I imagine, because, again, he has that hindered shoulder, but it hasn't stopped him this far. And then I wonder if Juice Robinson's going to fall back on that left-handed god, and if that might lead him to the victory. So with that being said, Juice has not been doing post-match comments, and he has no pre-match words right now, it seems, for this big match for the end of the B block. And we all know Goto, what he is capable of doing, despite what people think of him and people thinking he might leave. This could be a really good match, but I also wonder about Goto's future. And I also wonder where Juice Robinson goes from here too. Seeing that he is one of the first to beat Kenta for that briefcase, I could see that definitely being a possibility. But with that being said, I'm going to say that history continues and Juice Robinson does pull out the win here, one way or another. Should be a really good match, though. Now let's go into another match. And boy, you talk about a rivalry these two had last year. Good friggin' Lord. As once again, the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, he takes on Zack Sabre Jr. Now, as far as G1 goes, these guys have both traded a victory in G1s respectively. Of course, we know that Tanahashi, he beat Zack Sabre Jr. in last year's G1. Follow up from there, we also saw Tanahashi get the better of Zack Sabre Jr. at the Royal Quest pay-per-view special, where he won the British Heavyweight Championship. After earlier in last year, Zack Sabre Jr., he caused the ace to verbally tap out in Madison Square Garden. And I'm sure that none of the history from last year is forgotten by both these men, especially with the last one-on-one encounter. Zack Sabre Jr. beat the ace when the ace was trying to beat Zack at his own game to regain his title. And the two have not met each other in singles since. But we also seen how far the rivalry have gone since Dangerous Tekkers and Golden Ace have gone after the tag titles, which of course Suzuki-gun now has, and I'm very happy for. With that being said, it is a rubber match, regardless if you look at G1 history or overall singles records. These guys have met each other now in 8 previous singles encounters, and it's 4-4. With that being said, both men being eliminated, you wonder what's going to be set up as we head into Power Struggle. You wonder if Zack Sabre Jr. is going to go again against the ace, maybe down the line. Whereas Zack Sabre Jr. is only a tag team champion, but I'm sure Taiji will be in his corner or rooting him on because Taiji is mathematically eliminated. And I'm pretty sure that Dangerous Tekkers does not want to face these guys again for the tag gold, but I can see both these teams involved clearly in the World Tag League. I am going to say that, oh, this is tough. You just tap out. I'm going to say Zack Sabre Jr. gets the win and ends his G1 run with a very impressive 12 points. Nothing against the ace, but right now I feel like you said, he needs to reach that level of Kota Ibushi. He clearly has not reached that level. He wants Kota to surpass him. I think he's already had just with this win. And I think bigger things lie ahead with Kota Ibushi taking basically Ace's spot at the top, which kind of puts the ace in a different spot. Hence why he was probably in the B block this year. I'm sure NJPW officials have been watching the ace very closely. With that being said, it's going to be curious how this sets up the mentality of Golden Ace heading into World Tag League if they choose to participate in that. But I'm going with one half of the tag champs getting the win here. I'm going with Zack Sabre Jr. But this should be really fun. As long as the ace doesn't go to try and beat Zack at his own game, I'm pretty sure that the ace might have a chance. But again, we know what Zack Sabre Jr. is capable of, and he can catch him out of nowhere. This accounted to the victory roll. It's called a European clutch. Just saying. Which leads us into these two matches that truly will define who wins and who loses. As we first have double champ and block leader, tied with Weevil, Tetsuya Naito at 12 points, taking on Kenta, who sits at 8. While Kenta is mathematically eliminated, he could play spoiler. Naito must win here and have Evil lose or draw in the main event in order to take this block. And then, folks, you might have, oh God, you might have Kota Ibushi versus Tetsuya Naito again. I fear for both men's necks. But not thinking about that right now because I don't know if that's going to be solidified. Looking at this match, you wonder with Kenta and Evil and the fallout, and you really wonder which way Bullet Club's going. Is Kenta fighting on Bullet Club's behalf or his own behalf or on Evil's behalf secretly? Is there a hidden agenda here? And honestly, these two have only made sure one at a time in singles action, as you know, earlier this year for the double gold, where Naito won. So this is going to be interesting. I expect this to be better than the match that was at New Beginning. Kenta could try and play ultimate spoiler here. I mean, these two did go for nearly 36 minutes, which of course would yield in a draw because this is a 30-minute time limit. But I think that Naito is going to, oh man, this is interesting. I think that, okay, let me think here. If I want my first primary to win the block, then Naito has to lose. If Naito wins and Evil loses, then we renew that rivalry. Both are very compelling. I have to figure about that beginning run for Sonata too. I want him to achieve and go up above and beyond so damn badly. I would love to see Sonata main event Wrestle Kingdom. But I think for right now, I think I see the writing on the wall for the B block. I think that begrudgingly, I'm going to go with Tetsuya Naito winning here, which basically tells you what I'm going to say about the main event, because it is former tag team partners, a renewed rivalry after being obliterated at New Japan Cup. It's time for Sonata to get revenge. Sonata, simple as that, beat Evil. Sonata's going into this with 10 points. Evil's got 12. If Naito wins and Evil loses, Naito takes the block. We got Naito versus Kota Ibushi in the main event at Wrestle Kingdom, and I'm just going to simply go with that. However, I will, of course, say, that's not an Evil. They have faced each other in 3 previous singles encounters. It is one-on-one in G1 Climax history. This is a rubber match among the two, as far as G1 goes. With Dick Togo in play, playing spoiler, I'm sure he's going to do everything he can to help Evil win. But this is where I slowly think Jay White's going to show up and truly show who's in charge of Bullet Club and who deserves to lead them through victory in the G1, and it's not Evil. And I think we're going to get a Bullet Club Civil War in our hands, similar to what we had a couple years ago with the Elite versus the Firing Squad. Just saying. But bottom line is this, I gotta hope and pray and go with Sonata winning here, despite the fact that my previous outcome basically confirms if Sonata wins here, Naito takes the block. So right now, as long as Sonata or Naito takes the B block, I'll be happy. But as far as what I'm saying on video, I think Naito is winning this block. And I think he's going to do what, honestly, I can't remember the last IWGP Heavyweight Champion has done in G1 Climax history. Not only win their block, but win the finale. But again, we're going to have to wait and see. It's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to 4 of these matches. 3 of them, more particularly than the other one. And then the other one, just eh. Because again, it's pride. It's Toru Yano. I'm over Toru Yano at this point, okay? Toru Yano, Yoshihashi, come on now, okay? Should be a serious affair. Yoshihashi is no nonsense, just saying. Despite the fact people think he's a bit off-center, which I can kind of get. But I'm curious what the B block finale is going to lead to our winner being. And as long as it's Sonata or Naito, I'll be happy. With that being said, that is it for now, ladies and gentlemen, as we literally prepare less than 12 hours from now for the B block finals. Who takes the block? Who's going into the finale? Who will be the one come the end of the show Sunday morning? And who knows what the hell else awaits. That's all I have for now, so thank you so much for tuning in. You want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of ... wrestling. So Instagram, Twitter, PlayStation, it's at nfoster1916. Keep following the civil YouTube channel here, youtube.com/c/no-foster210 for all things wrestling. Shout out to my ATW family on Twitter. Upcoming content, of course, for NXT, NXT UK, AEW, more G1 Climax coverage, more JPW content, simple chat, and recorded streams from Twitch as well. You can find my Twitch at nfoster191625. I, for now, just stream on weekends, various schedules. I'm trying to figure out something more defined as the year progresses. You want to know more about? It's in the description down below. I keep it simple for you. Support WrestleJoy, NoDQ, Team All Elite, support the Primetime Predictions League. We want wrestling talk. Great Cherry Brand, buy a shirt. Jeff Meacham Network, and support Pro Wrestling Success, the Harvard, folks, us as fans. And as always, I like to close. Support wrestling outlets big and small. Let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, authentic, unscripted, unrestricted wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, I thank you so much for everyone that's continued to tune in or just has recently found this channel now. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell and know the next video going on this channel. Hit the subscribe button, help me keep growing this channel. Shout out to all 160 of you that's been with me on this fun YouTubers creators journey. It's not leaving anytime soon. 8 days from now, I'll have a special anniversary stream. We'll play games, we'll talk, and we'll see what else is happening. Maybe I'll live react to wrestling if it's on during that night too. But I'm done for now. So as always, please be positive. Please enjoy life. Enjoy wrestling. Find something out of it that you can make a friend or rob you out of it too. I dare people to challenge virtue. Wear a mask. Be safe. Treasure your families. Treasure moments you see in professional wrestling that you may not see again. And until tomorrow morning, basically. Or if I still choose to do a live super chat tonight versus an extended one next week. And I hope you all just have a wonderful life, whether it's day, night, evening for you. I'll see you tomorrow after G1 Climax 30 Bleed Black action concludes. Fukigenyo, sayonara. What an A block.